Good morning, Milwaukee. This is JP with your Milwaukee Sports Minutes. A few things going on that we got to talk about. Brewers were able to even their series last night with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bats were finally able to break out in the seventh after 15 innings of no runs scored. We're going to have stretches like that with this young lineup. But hopefully they're able to play a little more small ball and not rely on the long ball like last season, and we'll avoid those long stretches of just brutal offense to watch. Corbin Burnes able to return to form a little bit last night. He went 8 dominant innings of 3-hit, no-run ball. Couple news and notes. Craig Counsell becomes the all-time leader in games managed for your Milwaukee Brewers at 1,180. Passes Phil Gardner, the previous leader. Now, a lot of people are wondering kind of what the future holds for Craig Counsell with his contract being up this year. I personally think he's the man for the job, the man to take this young Brewers squad to the promised land. So I'm thinking that he's going to kind of run away and hide with that lead for games managed for your Milwaukee Brewers. And on the downside, we did have Brandon Woodruff land on the injured list with some shoulder inflammation. He's off to an incredible start, so you want to make sure that not only is he ready to go, every time you can get him out there, but you want to make sure he's healthy for the later stretch of the season. So hopefully just a precaution. Hopefully it's just the minimum time on that injured list and he's able to be back up here in the next couple of weeks. And some interesting news from down on the farm. Jackson Chourio, who, if you haven't heard about him yet, it's time to start paying attention to this kid. He hit 2 home runs last night for the Brewers AA affiliate, the Biloxi Shuckers. And this kid is just a 5-tool player all around. He is going to be an incredible talent, and I cannot wait to watch his growth over the next couple of years. There's a good chance this guy's going to be hitting home runs in the majors for the Brewers before he can legally drink a beer. Really just the growth of this kid and the path that he is on is something that I've never seen before. And I'm even looking back at, some of the big names like Braun coming up back in the day. That's kind of like the largest prospect I can think of in that I've dealt with in Brewers, and this is just unmatched. A couple things have gotten clearer for the Bucks playoffs coming up. Their first game is going to be this Sunday at 4:30 with the Hawks defeating the Heat last night. They are on their way to Boston for the first round, and that limits the team the Bucks could face down to the Raptors, the Bulls, or those Miami Heat. Just excited to get the playoffs going. The playoffs are always exciting for basketball. The series are great. I know the Bucks playoffs really doesn't start till the second round because, let's be honest, we're going to run over any of these 3 teams that find their way to the Pfizer Forum on Sunday. But yeah, the reason that got me to turn the camera on today, it's going to be our first Packer update on this channel, and kind of like all offseason updates for the Packers the last couple of years, it's not exactly good news. Kind of been all quiet on all fronts with Aaron Rodgers news lately. And then David Bahktiari on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast for Barstool Sports yesterday, with just generally an attitude that you don't want to see out of one of your highest paid players. Everything was the Packers this and the Packers that. No we or us or really any comments that would get you excited or make you think that he's excited for this upcoming season and the ability to play with Jordan Love. It's just really honest. I know Bahktiari is one of Rodgers' guys, but it's very obvious that poor attitude that Rodgers has carried, that me versus the franchise attitude that he's had the last couple of years has really worn off on a few other players. I don't understand why David Bahktiari would have any issues with the Packers front office. We gave him the biggest bag I think a left tackle's ever seen, and I think since then he has played about 7 games for your Green Bay Packers. Now, I know that injuries are not his fault, but your general demeanor and your attitude towards the team, especially when you're in public on the media, that is entirely under his control. And everything he had to say yesterday, although it's not the worst comments, it's just not what you want to hear. Not what you want to hear at all. No confidence inspired, anything like that. I'm just personally, I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks where there's not been any Rodgers news. It was every single day with a news story for 6-7 weeks there. And quite frankly, I just grew tired of it. I am ready for this team to move forward. If you want to call it a rebuild like David Bahktiari did on the podcast yesterday, that's fine. Let's clean house then. Let's rebuild. Let's move forward and get the best team that we can put around Jordan Love. And I really do think there's going to be bright days ahead for the Packers. As a kid born in the 90s, I have never really seen a time of great peril for our Packers. And I may be a little bit ignorant, but I think they're going to find a way to figure this out faster than we all think. So, that's essentially what we got going on right now. Thanks for stopping in. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We'll be here all year with you guys, all through the Bucks playoffs. Can't wait. Exciting times ahead.